Look, I assumed that people that were in wheelchairs also have to buy bras and have to buy underwear. I didn't know that we needed to see that in our face. I didn't know that now we're going to have to look forward to campaigns where women that are in wheelchairs are now wearing bras and underwears. When I see stuff like this, I just go, whose idea was this? Was it your idea? Okay, you're fired.
Man, the damn wokies and those disabled people. The left.
First and foremost, let's debunk the idea that I am an ableist, that I somehow wanted to pursue disabled people and I wanted them out of spaces because—
You said, why do I need to see this? And that you would fire the person that put it in.
That is an absolute nonsense. First and foremost, as I said, if you are a listener to the show, you know that I often talk about my pet peeves of ad campaigns where you can no longer see the product that they're advertising for.
So you had a person sitting in a wheelchair, they weren't doing anything that was objectionable, and she was showing the product. Why does she do this, by the way? Why does she show clips that make her look even worse? So whenever Candace Owens pops up in the news, you know we're about to hear something incredibly dumb, or just outright offensive. And I don't mean offensive in the sense of like the lefties who are offended by digital blackface, boo-hoo, but more like just it's offensive in the sense that it's not only just incorrect, but it's just so mean for no reason. It seems to just be mean-spirited. And I'm not kidding. This time to shit on disabled people. That's right. Have you made the horrible, awful mistake of being somebody who's disabled? Are you actually a dumb fucking loser in a wheelchair? Well, fuck you, according to Candace Owens. That's not a direct quote, okay? But it's paraphrased. Let's go ahead. This is her thing, why representation literally does not matter. And she goes into complaining about the fact that there was a recent advertisement for some clothing, and the advertisement featured a person in a wheelchair. Well, apparently that's the woke representation striking again.
Panties, I just can't buy panties because I don't know, I don't feel included. Look, I assumed that people that were in wheelchairs also have to buy bras and have to buy underwear. It's just something that I just assumed that was a thing. I didn't know that we needed to see that in our face. I didn't know that now we're going to have to look forward to campaigns where women that are in wheelchairs are now wearing bras and underwears. When I see stuff like this, I just go, whose idea was this? Was it your idea? Okay, you're fired. I'd like to fire the person who was behind this ridiculous campaign.
So the ridiculous campaign of showing somebody in a wheelchair modeling some bras and panties. Man, the damn wokies and those disabled people. The left. It's destroying everything I've loved. Okay, so then this is the video in which Candace Owens responds to all this drama. Let's go ahead and see what she has to say. Let's hear how she attempts to defend herself. Let's find out, Candace. Please, take it away.
On this show, and I discussed an ad that didn't make any sense to me. It was an ad featuring a woman that was sitting in a wheelchair and she was promoting underwear. So I commented on, this doesn't make any sense. This seems like another DEI initiative. Everybody needs to be included. Everybody needs to see themselves in a space.
So let's be clear first and foremost. Everybody needs to be included and see themselves in space. If you want to go that way, then like maybe, but it's largely because of capitalism. And this is, someone could argue, a good part of capitalism is that businesses are incentivized to appeal to the largest group possible, which just follows that businesses are incentivized to be as inclusive as possible. Not like there's inclusivity inside of the business. Obviously, there's problems with inequalities and workers' rights and whatnot. Long way to go there. However, as far as like advertisement campaigns and whatnot, yes, inclusivity, diversity, they are incentivized specifically to produce that kind of shit because they want as many people as possible buying their stuff. If you're in a wheelchair, but you got stacks, they don't give a fuck. They want you rolling on into their store to go buy some new bra and panties, man. That's just more money. That's how capitalism works. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I don't know what she means when she's like, why do we need all of this diversity and inclusivity? Representation does absolutely matter. Now, I know that Candace Owens is a homophobic piece of shit. However, it is a good thing to know that there is evidence to suggest that depictions of gay people in the media helped to further normalize gay people. So in a society in which there may have been even more homophobia, well, we see homophobia decrease upon positive representations of gay people on TV. So clearly, representation has the possibility to influence people's perceptions of others. We also know that ableism in general is still a problem. I have a problem with it, as you all know. So, featuring somebody in a wheelchair is not only not a bad thing, I would say it is actually a good thing specifically, because all you're doing is showing positive representation of some people who are disabled. It can work to further normalize people who are disabled, who quite commonly faced other types of struggles due to the fact that they're disabled to begin with.
And this was weeks ago. Somehow it got unearthed. I believe that it was due to a Forbes article. And the writer of the Forbes article, first and foremost, let me read to you her bio. Her name is Keely Cat Wells, and she is the diversity, equity, and inclusion contributor. And her bio says that she is a disability activist and the founder of C Talent. Okay.
Uh-oh, guys. She supports disabled people and inclusivity. Uh-oh. Look out, man. Watch out. I like how this is just starting out with a massive ad hom. I love it. Interestingly enough, she has pronouns in her bio. Okay. We don't give a fuck. Tell us what she said.
Okay, fine. She wrote an article entitled Disability Rights Advocates Speak Out Against Candace Owens' Harmful Comments on Disability Representation. And within the article, I'm going to summarize it. They have a woman who was featured in the Skims campaign. She is a disabled model. And she says, quote, seeing someone like you matters, representation matters. They then go on to quote another woman named Paula Carozzo, who is the creator and also a disability rights activist. And she said in this article, quote, for the disability community, we are at the current peak of representation. Representation for us is as vital as the lungs we need to breathe. Okay? If representation and seeing yourself in an ad campaign is as important for you as your 2 working lungs that you need to breathe, that's totally fine. I have some things to say about that. I'm going to say.
Well, of course, that statement is definitely hyperbolic, and it would have probably helped the argument had it been a little bit less hyperbolic and more concise. But I think it's pretty clear what she's talking about here. She's not saying she literally needs representation more than she needs her life, okay? What she's saying, however, is that representation is crucial and incredibly important for an already marginalized group, because the more acceptance and normalization that occurs for that group, the better off that group will be. Do you care about disabled people? I don't know if you do, although, I mean, you clearly care about yourself, so somewhat you do. Do you agree, then, that media can have any kind of effect at all on normalization? If you say yes, then it logically follows that you would then support representation for disabled people, because it helps to further normalize that group and leads to better outcomes for that group. It's literally just like textbook good thing, and Candace Owens is up here saying it's bad.
Say those things while also later on getting to somebody who actually was much more reasonable in their assessment. First and foremost, let's debunk the idea that I am an ableist. I thought that was really, really interesting, that I somehow wanted to pursue disabled people and I wanted them out of spaces because...
You said, why do I need to see this? And that you would fire the person that put it in. You said you would fire the person that said, it's a good idea to feature disabled people in our advertisement campaign. You said, why do I need to see this?
This is an absolute nonsense. First and foremost, as I said, if you're a listener to the show, you know that I often talk about my pet peeves of ad campaigns where you can no longer see the product that they're advertising for. So let's put Candace Owens on rewind talking about that pet peeve.
What does this have to... Wait, by showing a disabled person, they're letting you know what the product can be used for, which is wearing it, and you're also allowed to wear it if you're in a wheelchair.
Cannot stand this. It's a new, I guess, artsy-fartsy trend, but like all of a sudden you're buying stuff online and now the models are posed in weird like gymnastics way. Like you're trying to buy a shirt and they're upside down. I think Zara is really guilty of this new trend of models where I can't see what you're wearing. Like I'm online, I want to buy the shirt, I want to see what the shirt looks like. I don't really care if your model can do the splits. So please, let's stop this trend. It's really bad.
So you had a person sitting in a wheelchair. They weren't doing anything that was objectionable, and she was showing the product. Why does she do this, by the way? Why does she show clips that make her look even worse?
Oh, I guess I'm hating on people that are able-bodied and can do the splits and can do back bends, or I'm just commenting on something that seems really stupid. And as I said, I want to see the product. I want to see the shirt. I want to see...
You realize there's a difference between saying you're being ableist because you said that somebody was wrong or something. Okay, listen. If you had somebody in a wheelchair and they said, hey, you know what? I think the world is flat. And then you said, no, it's not. You're wrong. And then they said, oh, you're being ableist. Then your response here would make a little more sense. But nobody's arguing that you're ableist simply because you criticized somebody in a wheelchair. You're not ableist against able-bodied people because you criticized doing splits. You're being accused of ableism because you said you would fire the person that put a disabled person on screen and that you don't want to see it, that you want it out of your face. This isn't just you saying, like, I don't like the fashion. This is you directly complaining about seeing a disabled person on the advertisement campaign. And then you even followed it up by saying, oh, what's next? Are we gonna have people on crutches hurt her? Like, you are an idiot, Candace. These things are not comparable. But again, conservatives are actually inbred enough to watch this and be like, yeah, that's a solid response. And then they go back to jerking it to furry porn.
See the underwear, or I'm just commenting on something that seems really stupid. And as I said, I want to see the product. I want to see the shirt. I want to see the underwear. Why are we doing this? Is this because we're just
You
trying
could
to
see the product in the picture with the wheelchair.
be more inclusive? Are we trying to be more fun? What is the point of this? So again, as I said, I got tons of hate, a lot of comments to sift through. I'm going to try to summarize the main points, which are very much like this article that was in Forbes. People said, if Candace were in a wheelchair, she would understand why representation and seeing yourself is so important. So to that, I can only say you must be new here. This is the exact opposite that I speak about. I spent my entire life fighting the idea that in order for me to feel like I'm allowed to be Black or that I'm allowed to be a woman, I need to therefore see Black women everywhere. That is the opposite.
So we have the classic reduce the argument down to absurdity, so then you look like the reasonable one when you're against it. Saying you don't need to look at yourself in the media to feel like you're allowed to be Black or be a woman is not the same thing as depictions of certain minority groups on TV in which they are depicted in a positive way that can lead to general acceptance and further normalization of an already marginalized group. That's what it is. That's what happens here. Nobody's saying you need to see a Black woman on TV for you to feel like you're allowed to be a woman. Nobody's saying this, okay? In fact, it's usually the conservatives telling a lot of trans people that they're not allowed to be women. So I don't know why you would say something dumb like that. That's not what the argument is. The argument is simply that more depictions of marginalized minority groups tends to lead to further normalization of that group, especially if the depiction is positive, because you can do harm with depictions as well. If you're doing consistent attacks or depictions of disabled people as being like really dumb and incapable or whatever, then that would be a negative depiction. Then you're probably normalizing negative stereotypes of disabled people. But for you to be up here and say representation doesn't matter, Candace, I feel like I have to remind you, like the classic white liberal soy boy, but do you know you're Black? Do you remember that one? I know you say you're colorblind, but I mean, you look in the mirror and you can still tell you're Black, right? You realize that because of representation, that led to further acceptance, right? For Black people. My argument, of course, is not that because Black people were on TV, it made people less racist, by the way. Positive depictions of minorities in the media tends to further positive views of minorities, and it normalizes those people. Imagine like Black people, disabled people, they're a minority group, right? So throughout general American society, based on raw numbers, there are more white people in the country, so you probably have a higher likelihood of being around white people more than Black people. That's just that's just the proportion of population, right? If there's a negative stereotype that Black people are thieves or bad people or something to be afraid of or something like this, that negative stereotype can go further because less people proportionately actually are friends with Black people enough so to be able to understand that that's just a stereotype and it's not true. The same thing for disabled people, even more so. How many people have friends who are like in wheelchairs? I don't have any friends like that. A negative stereotype can do a lot more harm because you're spreading negative views of a marginalized group even further, most likely to people who don't even have any prior experience with that group. But the same can be said in terms of positive representation and normalization as well. So featuring a disabled people in an advertisement campaign, representation matters. These kinds of statements and actions make perfect sense if you care about helping marginalized groups, which clearly Candace does not.
Of what it means to actually have confidence. I don't need to see Tyra Banks being a model. I don't need to see Tyra Banks wearing underwear, which brings me to the second thing people were saying. A woman wrote to me and said, I wanted to be a model growing up, and seeing this woman made me realize that I could be one. Okay, so what you're saying there is that you want to be patronized. You want people to essentially hand out participation trophies. You're perhaps not the best person suited for this particular role, but you want people to give it to you anyways. And people are doing.
Wow, I think she's joined Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh in becoming the bad faith machine. How does that enter one ear? Hey, seeing a disabled model made me realize that I'm disabled myself and that I could be a model also. No, Candace, she didn't legitimately think that the law would step in her way and throw her in disabled prison for daring to pursue a career in modeling. That's not what she meant, Candace. What she meant is, if you are a disabled person and all you ever see in media are models who are fit, able-bodied women who are not in wheelchairs, well, then you might start to get the impression that as much as you want to be a model, because of the fact that you're in a wheelchair, doesn't really seem like that's a thing. This is so obvious. And this, again, is how just basic human psychology works. You know, I've had experiences like this with my own daughter. It was a couple days ago. Well, it was a couple weeks ago now. I was showing her a video of people landing on the moon. I showed her the astronauts on the moon. She thought it was super cool. She heard, one step for man and all that crap. Well, the video ended, and I know people are going to say I'm making this up or everybody clapped or whatever, but the video ended and she said, I really want to be an astronaut. And I said, that's really cool. Maybe you can work hard and become an astronaut. And then she asked, you know what she asked me next? She said, can girls be astronauts? The video never said that girls can't be astronauts, but the video only showed men being astronauts. And that's enough for questions, especially with really young kids like that pops into their mind. Well, can girls even do this? Yeah, if you're growing up in a world where all you see are able-bodied models and you're in a wheelchair, I don't think it'll take too long for you to get the impression that models are not usually in wheelchairs. And of course, I told Rose that girls can absolutely be astronauts and that girls are astronauts right now.
That, by the way, we are seeing that all across society. People are becoming complicit. You are seeing marketing firms that are doing more and more of this. We're seeing Victoria's Secret fashion shows with clinically obese people. Why are they doing that? Well, for two reasons. The first is because they want to mark themselves safe from accusations that they're fat phobic, that they're transphobic.
Wait, why would they be needing to protect themselves from accusations that they're transphobic by showing fat people? Wait, is Candace under the impression that all fat people are trans people? Wait a minute. Is that why she thinks that they say, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body? Candace, that's not literal. We're not talking about, an obese person that actually has, a woman inside of them trying to claw out of their stomach, Alien. No, that's not what it means, okay? It's a metaphor. Maybe that's what she thinks? Why is she lumping trans people in with fat people? And also, no, Candace, it's not just so that they can save themselves from accusations. It's probably because marketing to fat people opens your business up to another demographic to make more money.
The other reason is because they want to placate the literal mob. There was a mob that descended on me yesterday. A person messaged me, and she even went so far as to say that seeing somebody in a wheelchair in a campaign could quite literally save somebody from suicide. That is a wildly emotional argument, and I'm going to respond to it in a little bit.
Yeah, I can agree that that's probably a pretty dramatic argument. And again, that would certainly not be my version of argumentation. But the thing is I feel like that's just, it's plausible. They didn't say, if you don't show disabled models, then disabled people will commit suicide. They said it could potentially save somebody from suicide. I mean, I guess if your entire lifelong dream is to be a model and then, I don't know, maybe you injure your legs later in life and you feel like your entire goals in life and everything you work towards have been ruined now that you're in a wheelchair. I mean, maybe you would be getting suicidal, but then you see somebody in a wheelchair and it makes you realize you still have the chance. I don't know. It's plausible though.
But just know that this is how far people were going to say how important it was for underwear campaigns to be inclusive. The next point was pointedly hilarious. People were accusing me of not wanting disabled people to wear underwear. Yeah, that's totally it. That's true. Everybody knows that I can't stand that. Everybody knows, in fact, that you have to see a model doing something to know that you're allowed to do it. Until I saw a black woman wearing clothes on a billboard, I was naked my whole life. I was just butt naked walking around. Until I saw Tyra.
That is a mental image I did not ask for. Okay, that's going to haunt my nightmares.
Banks wearing clothes on top model. I was naked. So thank you, representation matters, because in order for us to have permission to do anything, we must have a model that does it first. It's another nonsense.
No, nobody's saying this. Nobody's saying this at all, Candace. You're so desperate. It's very sad.
Things got really strange, and I was receiving first and foremost nudes. This is actually something that I was tagged in yesterday. Here we have a woman, and she is wearing a lace black bra, and she is laid up across the bed, and she wrote to me, "Learn to not let this offend you, Candace." Okay, you're gonna start sending me nudes, I guess.
That's not nude, Candace. That woman was wearing a bra and she was in clothes. Oh no. So wait, did you think that the disabled model was nude? It's just even shit like this. She's like a compulsive liar. I've noticed when I've dealt with some of these compulsive liars, people like Candace Owens, BX Bullet, another great example of somebody like that, where not only do they lie in order to try and save face or defend themselves, but they lie about things that don't need to be lied about. That's what I always find to be most just off-putting. Why lie and say that somebody sent you nudes? We saw the picture, Candace. That wasn't nude. That wasn't actually even like, you can maybe say like, somebody sent me a bit of a skimpy picture, maybe like that. But this is what I mean, like just pointless lying. And I think it demonstrates that she really has no regard for the truth. It's more just about sounding snappy, getting it out, reading her script, and just being a sociopath. That seems to be her ultimate goal here. It's just bizarre.
I will learn to not let it offend me or
Is
something.
it lies or hyperbole? To say that somebody sent you nudes, especially in a way that was not suggesting hyperbole at all, yeah, I think that's a lie.
And then we got to a point where there were just open threats, where people were writing to me and doing videos just threatening me. And you can take a listen to one such person and what she had to say.
How far are we going to take this inclusivity thing? I'm going to answer her right now, right here. We're going to take it as far as running you off the internet. We're going to take it so far, we're going to
running you off the internet. Man, oh man. If that's not a death threat.
be everywhere to the point that you cannot take it, that you cannot stand being in the internet because you cannot scroll without seeing us on ads, with our content creation being shared. You're not going to be able to get away with not seeing us. So that is how far we are going to take this inclusivity thing. If you are a person with a disability, I want you to take her words as encouragement to how much more work we still have to get done. Because it's not only going to be skins, it's going to be every single industry. And you're going to be so sick of seeing us, we're going to get the last laugh.
How is that a threat? Chase her off the internet? This is like the most... I love, by the way, how some of the most sociopathic, heartless pieces of subhuman shit on this website will simultaneously act the most offended when somebody else is even remotely mean back to them.
Okay, I don't want to be run off of the internet. If she wants to go be a model, if she wants to wear underwear for a campaign, go for it.
Well,
It's
you
not
said you don't want to see it, so clearly it bothers you to some degree.
that serious. I do want to make a couple of notes, though. First and foremost, it is important for me to tell the world something, irrespective of whether or not you're Black, disabled, or you are fat, whatever the issue is. I want you to know something. Everything is not for you. That's the truth. Nobody wants to tell you guys this. And in a way where everyone's like, I need to be seen everywhere. I need to see myself everywhere. Everything is not meant to be for you. So maybe you are a diabetic and you are watching a commercial for ice cream. Guess what? Maybe that particular commercial, not sugar-free ice cream, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you have no...
But the underwear and the bra was for disabled people. This is why I feel like I'm missing something. This is why, by the way, I feel like I'm missing something, because I'm not arrogant enough to believe that it's this easy to just refute this dumb fuck argument. There is no, yeah, you're right, some things aren't for everybody, Candace. Good point, you know? Great point. The underwear and the bra, that was for everybody. At least, I hope everybody's wearing underwear. I mean, she keeps making arguments that just defeat her previous point.
no hair. Maybe you're born with a condition that means that you're not able to grow hair. And you're watching ads for shampoo. Guess what? It's not for you.
Actually, shampoo can be used without hair. Doesn't it also help the scalp? Those tiny hairs on your head may be hard to see, but they still need some love. Oils and dirt can build up on a bald scalp, so be sure to use a dab of shampoo when you shower and follow up with a moisturizing conditioner to keep that head flake-free. Not even her, hyperbolic example made sense. Man.
I imagine there are short people that are plenty offended by the basketball league. In theory, short people could demand to be let into the league.
You realize there's a massive difference between I'm not in a basketball league in which height is a necessary component to being a good player versus why am I not featured in an advertisement that sells underwear for everybody?
Tag LeBron James over and over again. They could say, representation matters. And in theory, after being harassed, one of the team owners could decide to offer a $100 million contract to a man that's just 5'3", and then maybe this participation trophy could make other men that are also 5'3" believe that they too can make it to the NBA.
Short kings, stand strong, okay?
The reality is that an approximate 0% of short men in the world are going to make it into the NBA. An approximate 0%.
You're right. Making it into the NBA is a very exclusive thing that has certain standards and requirements that you must live up to and abide by. This is not at all comparable to somebody wearing underwear. You fucking idiot. All right. Well, there you guys have it. Candace Owens, heavily offended, triggered even, over somebody wearing underwear And then she continues to make arguments that actually defeat her argument prior. Not sure how somebody could have this degree of cognitive dissonance and still land a contract with the Daily Wire, but alas, this is the sad reality that we all live in. This hell world we inhabit, unfortunately, we have to share a time in which Candace Owens exists also. But regardless of all the bullshit she said, yes, representation absolutely does matter. The type of representation matters. Depicting disabled people in a underwear commercial, I don't see anything wrong with. Again, Candace, you yourself have admitted that, yeah, obviously disabled people need to wear underwear. So when you go into your big tirade about how, well, some things aren't for you, you're right, but underwear is for them. So why are you making that argument? It doesn't make any sense. She's obviously just some dumb, brain-dead loser who is paid off by her oil billionaires to go off here spieling a bunch of nonsense for her half-drunk conservative base. It's really quite sad, more than anything else. And yeah, chat, you're right. She does get dumber every day. Maybe she's like Benjamin Button, but just mentally. Like she's just becoming more and more immature and brain dead as time goes on. I don't know. Plausible.